I don't even think I got it. My name is Pamela Young. I'm a professional poet and author. I write to encourage my readers to stand through the storms of life in the name of Jesus. I'm here today with Kai Jones, and we're going to be discussing how to get your book published, and I just want to inspire him, and I'm very thankful that he's here to ask questions. I think that's what we're here for, to impart whatever it is that we have to share with other people into their lives. So we're going to be freelancing today, so it's not like we're going to be on Fox or Lionsgate. It's going to be live, so enjoy. We're just going to relax and chill out. Hang in there with us. Okay, this is awesome. This is awesome. We're just gonna. All right, like I was saying, Kai, that book right there, the guy's mother, she wrote that book of poetry, and that's her self-publishing. And like I told you, I'd rather have a publisher or an editor that specializes in doing that work to publish my literature, because to me it's more presentable and more professional. But as well, I told you that it's not so much as what something looks like, but the content. So, we'll go from there. And whatever questions that you had before you even came here, I just want to, if I can help, shoot.
Right, it's just some of the things is like, when it comes to self-publishing, I've been looking around a lot, and it's like there's mixed reviews on it. There's some people who feel like, there's some that are called like vanity publishers that pretty much just say, hey, it's a great book, come, we'll publish it and we'll do everything for you.
Yeah. And then, I like that word you use, vanity.
Yeah, that's actually what they call it. It's a vanity publishing scheme or whatever. And pretty much they just put your book out there and they try to charge as much as possible. And then there's some who say where there's good self-publishing, that they still do all the work that a regular publishing house would do, but just instead of a publisher having, they're footing the bill for you, instead you foot the bill,
right.
For the most part. So I mean, it's just but then also when it comes to finding agents, literary agents it also sounds very tedious as well when it comes to trying to prepare query letters and cover letters, and sometimes they don't want a story that hasn't been all the way proofread or hasn't been edited the best. And of course, copy editing is expensive.
So if you're trying to get them to publish it, then prior to that, you would have to have someone that has the skills to edit the book. So when you're doing that, you're gonna have to have some finances to be able to get that done, just so you can get the ones that have the professionalism to produce your book.
Right. And that's just to get them to be able to shop it around to publishers.
Okay. So that's just like the agent, right?
Right.
Okay. I feel you.
So I don't know if you went directly through your publisher or if you had someone who introduced you to them.
Actually, that's how it went. Because I would write poetry, but I was doing like my individual poems, and I would do it in like the graphics and the frame and everything. And I think it was one Sunday I went to a church, and the lady had seen some of my work, and after church she asked me, "So when are you going to publish your book?" And I was like, I was dumbfounded, because
you never thought about publishing a book.
I've heard it, but it's like I never really. It was not like a revelation, like an epiphany or anything that stored in me. So I was like, okay, I don't know anyone who published the book. What she did was, she said she knew a lady in Maryland. And I actually went to Maryland to meet her. And she has like bookstores and things like that. So when I met her, it was like we already knew each other because we're sisters in the Lord. She's this Christian lady and everything. So we just hit it off. And that's how I met my publisher. And she as well advertises the writers, the authors that she publishes their books through her bookstore and different other avenues that she gives us, sends out information on how we can promote our book and expose ourselves in different ways. So as well, even though that's so, our books are on Amazon and online and different bookstores. As well as an author, I still need more exposure. So what you're saying is something that I even need to be thinking about more of, how can I get more exposure? Even though I have, once you do get to that place where you get your book published, there's a page, like an author's page on Amazon.com where you can create your page.
I've also been reading online about that too. That's a big part of trying to sell books as well.
Oh yeah, I have. I just created my page, and I'm just so excited about it because I've done little clips and videos and different things, and I would talk to people that are interested in writing books and just trying to share and trying to help other people. I've did an interview at the public library with this is a professional photographer and floor designer, Miss Mary Sensei Miyagi. She's from Okinawa, Japan, and it was a blessing to meet her and to have her do an interview for me. And it went real well. Just you have to keep pounding. You have to keep pounding, just like you're looking up all this research. You have to keep pounding, and just because the key thing is that you believe in what you're doing so much so that you will keep pounding. You know what I mean? And it's not so much about my thing with me. It's not so much about me. It's about why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why I'm doing what I'm doing is bigger than me. What I'm doing, I'm writing from many adversities that I've gone through, so that I can help somebody else, because I know that's what God wants me to do. So that's bigger than me. So I don't have to worry about falling short. I don't have to worry about anybody not liking anything, because what I'm doing, God is in control of it. And when you read my book, that's between you and God in your heart. You see, so that way, the purpose of what you're doing is a big deal. Because when it's something that you're trying to achieve, and that's good, but you don't want that to be your sole reason, because that's a lot of pressure on yourself. You know what I mean? That's a lot of pressure on yourself. When you're operating in the gifts, and you understand the gifts and the talents that God has given you, and that what you're doing is you're really giving back to Him, that's just a beautiful thing. You're free. It's just like my brother said to me. He's a minister, right? He said to me, before he goes up in the pulpit, he says, it's not. He said, I'm telling you. He said, it's not about me. He said, if God don't do it, it won't get done. So he's going up there trusting God to give him, although he studied and he done his research to show himself approved, he's dependent on God. So his flesh to die, he's dependent on God so that he can deliver that word. So that's the thing with me in my word. It's like I'm so confident because I got my trust in Him. So that's the big deal. But keep pounding, keep pushing, and that's what motivates me to keep pounding and pushing, because there's more to come. Other people got to read. Other people got to get a hold of the inspiration that one person got from it. And this place is bigger than Goldsboro. It's big. This world is bigger than Goldsboro.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people in town love my writing. They love the books, my poetry, the frame poetry. But other people need to be aware of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, so don't let me talk you to death. I just got kind of excited.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just right sometimes. You know, just want to get all your ideas out.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing for me though is just like with yours, it's more of a a godly thing, and it's more inspirational. Mine is just it's just an amazing story that I have to tell. It's a fictional story. You know, I mean, if I really wanted to, just I don't do it to make money. I just do it because I think it's a story that a lot of people would be intrigued about. I think it's a story that kind of doesn't get told enough. Where you see a young man who because the story is about a young man who comes in and he's this basketball star, hard times hit, and then he results to being the same neighborhood guy that he used to say he would never be. And then more hardships happen, and he gets deeper and deeper into his lifestyle, and now he's addicted to this lifestyle when it comes to the end.
Okay. Oh yeah, and that's very familiar. That's very familiar to a lot of people. They can relate to that. And I don't know if you've ever heard this before. There's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
So, Kai, your interpretation of that young man growing up in the hard and harsh environment is as brilliant as anyone else who told the story.
Right.
Simply because no one can say or tell something the way you can. They can't express it. There's only one Kai,
Right.
and they can't put it out. Your experiences is gonna make you say it a different way, and that's good because somebody else need to hear it a different way, because the way the next person or the other person before them said it, they may not have gotten. So it's always know that what you're writing, especially you're the original seer. You're the original seer of that story. Even though it's been said before, it's never been said like you're saying it.
Right.
So that's the thing right there that should give any writer or anybody that's doing anything that anybody else is doing motivation. Never. My thing is never say, well, this person did it, I'm not going to do it. No, you still can do it because there's a way that you've been developed, the way you've grown up, that it's going to come out of you. It's going to come out of you different. And somebody's going to be like, oh, I really like that version. You know what I mean? Because, I've heard that before. The kid that's growing up in the low income housing community and trying to use sports to elevate himself, and this is his ticket out, but he said, I'm not going to be like that, or I'm not going to be like my father, my uncle, my brother.
Right.
And things happen, and sometimes things snowball to the point where you don't even know how you got there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm not really discouraged about because I feel like my story is very unique in how a lot of it is the character development. And while it's just this guy's story, it's not like his main story tells the story of a lot of other characters.
Okay.
You find out a lot about a lot of the other characters around him and how they get into how they got into the same thing he's in, or how they got into certain situations. Because I feel like telling a story about just one person, is very small. You got to be able to tell a story about a bunch of different people. Because other people's stories make up your own story.
That's right.
So that's really the big thing about my book, is that it has a bunch of different characters.
It seems.
You get to know. The thing about it is, most of the characters that you see, you get to know them. And if you don't, then that means that at some point in that time, that either they're not important, or either that at some point another time you're gonna find out more about them.
Okay, I got you.
Right, because I mean the first book is finished, but I've already got plans for a sequel, and I've got because it's a book that I started. It's a story that I started writing in my creative writing class, and it was just a fun story to write because I've always been a big rap music fan. So when it comes to stories like this are rap music has some of the best stories ever told. This is just to me another story for the culture.
That's right. I got
this
you.
Is, so, but for me, I've with it not being a song, not being a 4 or 5 minute song, I've been able over 63,000 words to tell a much deeper story.
Amen. Yeah, that's very good.
So, right now, the big thing for me with publishing is I just want a good product, and I don't want to be gypped out of my money at the same time.
Right. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Because honestly, I don't care about as far as like how many books it'll sell. But I mean, because at the end of the day, I never thought I would be the one that would publish a book.
Yeah. See, that's a good way of thinking because you already see. It's good when you can see your victories before the so-called victory. You know what I mean? That you can say, "Well, I'm already winning because I had an idea, and I went and I accomplished that. I done it, and I wrote the book. So you won already. So it's good to see your accomplishments before the end. You know what I mean? My thing is I speak life, and I know God knows where He wants His place with me. I know He knows where He wants His gifts and talents. He knows where He wants them associated with. And He knows how to open the doors for it to happen. And at the same time, I'm like this. Just like 20 people can tell the same story different. No one is better than or deserves better than I do, and I don't deserve better than the next one. I believe that I'm the head and I'm not the tail. I'm above and I'm not beneath.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, with that mindset, I want my books to sell. I want more than millions. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Right.
That would be a beautiful thing. But I understand something. If one person can read one line or a word that can move something in their spirit and help them get from a tough place, that's a blessing to me. And it's really, especially when somebody come up to me and say, I read your book, or it has blessed me. You have no idea what that does to me. Because I can remember when I was working on it. I can remember what I went through to be able to know what I'm writing about, to experience things that I've gone through. And I'm going to tell you, I was reading a book, Joyce Meyer's, The Battlefield of the Mind. I was going through something, and I read one line in her book, and it was something that the Holy Spirit had spoke to my heart. And I know that was between me and God, right? And I read that line, it was like, all right, wait a minute. This lady don't know me. And she said almost exactly the same thing that the Holy Spirit was ministering to me.
Right.
So at that point, I had to have faith. I was in a low place in my life at that time. I had to have faith that God was trying to tell me something at that point. I got to get a grip. I had to start having faith in something, right? Not in something, but at some point in time, instead of being tossed back and forth. So, if you can touch one life, but see, I had to learn that. I had to be available for that. And to be available for that, I had to persevere and keep going and doing and believing in what God has given me. So, one person get the book, one person be blessed. Like you said, you already won. You might not be looking for it, but see, a lot of times with a heart like that, that's when you will. You know, that's when you will. It's like, I like doing what I'm doing, and I think this is a great book that I just wrote. So, you know, this feels good.
I mean, if it didn't touch anyone else, I know it touched me personally.
Yeah.
My book, I know that, you know, that because, you know, even while writing the book, you know, I've went through a lot of different stuff. A lot of places where, you know, I was in a dark place. But, you know, one of the things that was there for me was my book. I could escape for, you know, an hour, 2 hours, however long I was writing the book. And I could just find an escape while trying to be this character, trying to put together his story. You know?
Yeah, that's good. And that's one thing that I discovered through writing, because it took a turn. Previously, when I wrote Stan, I was writing from experience on one level, but I started going to my second book. I started going through different life trials, and I was writing through the storm, through the pain and darkness, and when you experience what you write, it's a whole new ball game. You know, it's real. It's like it's life. You know what I mean? It's real, and it's gonna touch hearts. It's gonna touch lives. It's gonna touch hearts. There's so many different levels to experiencing something. I thought what I was writing, my first book, I thought, okay, I experienced everything in it. I had some kind of experience in each poem or whatever I've written. I don't do creative writing. not in that not in the far as the premise of what I write.
Right.
Maybe the format or something like that. But I write from my life experiences, and that's the guts and the glory.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. That's good that you wrote in the dark times. What I know was spitting it out again.
Yeah.
It's coming out good, right?
Yeah. It's always good to have, you know, sometimes, you know, pain it's a really good fuel.
Yeah. So at one point I was going through a whole lot, and I thought in my mind, I'm like, I'm sitting here still writing through this. I'm gonna say it was hard for me because I think that I'm gonna be a little spiritual right now. I think the enemy was trying to stop me from doing what I was doing. And my brother told me, so whatever you was doing before the storm came, keep doing it.
Right.
So I was going through so much, but I kept writing, and I couldn't believe that. One day I was like, I'm still writing. I'm going through so much pain, but I'm still writing, you know. But when I got through that storm, it took me a while to be able to go back and really edit the book, because you know when you go back and read it, it's like opening up that part of your life. You know what I mean? So, but it also showed me when I was able to go back and it didn't bother me that I was healing. You know, I was able to go back and edit, and I wouldn't have those triggers of those emotions. And you know, was teaching me, okay, I'm healing now. I can get back into it. So it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It is always good just to see, you know, how far you come.
Yeah.
You know, out of a dark place.
Yeah, I'm telling you, God, and I give him my glory for that. I'm telling you, because faith in the word, in His word, in what He said, in all His promises. That's what got me keeping on going forward. But it wasn't always easy to hold on to it. You know what I mean? It wasn't always easy, but grace and mercy.
Yeah. And the funny thing about it, I was looking at the other day. I was looking at a conversation I had with my friend a few months back. I had just sent chapter 6 of my book back in March 28th. and which was my birthday. And then I looked at it and I finished it by August. I think it was August 28th when I finished it. So I kind of from 6 to 46.
Wow.
You know, in 5 months. You know,
Yeah.
considering I started in October, I had done 6 chapters until March. You know?
Yeah.
So to me, I was like, wow. And then from there, also, you know, part of me getting like really heavy into the book was part of me having a big spiritual change as well.
Amen.
You know, not only from, you know, a lot of things changed inside of me, you know, as far as you know, just becoming happier.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
becoming, you know, more godly, trying to make sure I read my Bible every day, trying to make sure that, you know, I take care of my body.
Amen.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's good.
everything in my life started to change around the time that I really started to get heavy into making sure that my book was rolling forward. You know, so you know, I don't really, you know, it's not necessarily a godly story, but it's something that, you know, I believe that God sent to me. You know, because a lot of times, even though my life started to get a lot better, you know, some things went wrong, and of course, you know, I still had those dark times I was writing, and then of course, but you know, it's just like the book kept me not from being as dark, and as depressed, and as sad. You know,
it was a tool.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, God, He works it all out. He work it all out for our good. You know what I mean? We don't just arrive. You know,
Right.
we all got a journey. You know, I know your book. It may not be a spiritual book, per se, like a Christian book. But like I said, your gift and your talent came from God, and what we are to do is to give those gifts back to Him. What you're writing about and what you've been through while you was writing is part of the process of your life. I didn't just get where I am right now to understand that our gifts and talents are to be given back to Him.
Right.
I've come through a lot, and I've not always been on my P's and Q's either. You know, there was a journey, and that's why I thank Him for grace and mercy that kept me and His hand upon my life while I was doing whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I believe that even still, God, He can use anything. He can use any and everything. I think it was a donkey or something in the Bible that He used that spoke.
Right.
You know what I mean? But He can turn anything around for your good. You know what I mean? Right. It's all about our hearts and our heart's desires and us inviting Him into our lives to clean us up, to save us. You know, invite Him in because He's not going to impose on us. You know what I mean? We got free will. So this is still good. Even though my book may be a Christian book, yours may be a fictional book, and it may be has a lot of things, but a lot of things does go on in the hood in certain places. What you're speaking of, it might can be spoken of in a different way, but this is part of your journey. You know what I mean?
Right.
So